Hello, welcome to Sunfire Designs. Today I am going to be doing the polka dot pour, which I made my first one last night. So we're going to see if I can do it again and get the same results. That way I'll know whether it works or not. I'm using my rose mold, my rose edge mold. And let me show you what I've got here. So I mixed up 200 mils of Art Pro resin. I didn't really let it sit, but I also didn't mix it right away. I was just trying to mix everything up. So it is like 79 degrees in my room right now, so it's pretty warm. I didn't want to wait too long when doing it because it is so warm in here. I am going to put together some rocks here. I'm going to put together some black stones. Just going to do this really fast because I forgot to do it. So I'm going to put some black glass, and then I'm going to use some of these micro beads. There's some really pretty blue ones here, and maybe some of these little purple ones. So I'm going to throw some of these in here. You don't want to put too many because they do spread out if you're not careful. This is brand new, so they're kind of tough to open. Okay, I put a little more purple than I wanted to. All right, one more thing. I'm going to put some silver in there also, just to have a little bit of contrast. All right, now that's done. These are from Michael's. They're from the Recollections collection, micro beads. I love them. Love, love, love them. I also have these, which are slightly larger in light blue. And I have them in pink too. Okay. And I'll put a link for the stones in the description. All right. So what I have first is I have 50 mils of resin. This is phthalo green. It's the yellow shade of phthalo green. And I used 4 drops. So I'm going to put that in here first. There we go. And this is somewhat similar to my atomic pour, but the white is the part that's different, and the proportions are a little different. Just so if you go in and you're like, I've seen this before, what are you doing? That is why. All right, so this is 35 mils of resin, and I used 3 drops of phthalo blue, the green shade, and 1 drop of Prussian blue, and this one is really dark. You know, I want this one to be really dark. I want one to be light and one to be dark. You probably could have 2 darks, but I've been trying this with 1 light and 1 darker. Then I've got my mica powder in here. There's 30 mils, so slightly less than the blue. And I use Estoyo Magic Violet, which is basically like ghost violet. And then for my whites, I have 35 mils, and I use 2 drops of Let's Resin Ocean White. And then the remainder is my push. There's probably about 60 mils, 50 or 60 mils left in there after I've mixed everything else up. So I'm going to go ahead. Now I call this the polka dot pour because I'm basically pouring polka dots around in the mold. It's easier to see if you've got a light background and a darker color as well, but that's not like the reason you have to do it that way. I'm trying to make them slightly bigger so I don't have to keep going back and doing it. And the wider your mold is, the more, either the more of the color you'll need, or the smaller your dots will have to be so you can spread them out more and have enough to go all the way around. This is just about perfect for the width of this mold. I have not tried this yet in a shallow mold, so I don't know how it works in a shallow mold. I may do that next. but this is the deep mold. This is the rose edge mold, is like at least 3/4 of an inch, probably up to an inch deep, although I don't pour it the whole way. That's the nice thing about making it this deep. Someone commented in my subscription, one of my subscribers commented, and I totally agree, is that you can, if you've got a deep mold like this, you can pour it a bunch of different ways. You can pour it deep, you can pour it more shallow, you can have more variety with it. And whereas if you have a more shallow mold, it's just, you're confined to how shallow it is. Although I wouldn't call my shallow molds even shallow. They're like a 1/2 inch, but they definitely just aren't as deep as this one is. This is the deepest mold I have. I'm just going back and adding a little glue. I don't have any more room to add any more little polka dots, but I do have a little bit of room to add to some of the polka dots themselves. And this is where the polka dot name comes in, is because I'm basically making polka dots, large polka dots, but they're still polka dots. All right, that's done. I am going to take my little torch and torch the center where those little bubbles are coming up, just to make it easier. Okay, now I'm going to do my Magic Violet. And I'm going to go around and put this in all of these. I think the Magic Violet looks really cool against a dark color as well. I almost used black for this. You know me, I like to use black in my work, or like dark blue, like indigo. I almost used indigo. But then I decided I would go a little bit lighter and more carefree, I guess. I don't know why I said carefree, but you know what I mean. A little brighter and lighter, and do the phthalo blue. And I apologize, my voice is a bit rough today. Allergy season is upon us, and my allergies have been really bad the last few days. It's made my voice all froggy, my mouth all dry, my sinuses bugging me. So anyway, I apologize. At least I don't feel like I'm sniffling as bad as I was before. But, you know, it's a trade-off, I suppose. All right, I'm just going back and adding a little more to some of these spots until I use it. And you know, this is only the second one I've done, so you totally probably could play with the proportions and find what works best for you. That's usually what I do when I'm doing something, is I'll start off with a number, you know, for the amount of my resin, the amount of my different colors, etc. And then once I see the results of it, I go back and I tweak it a little bit. So this has too much white, so I'm going to reduce the white. Or this color didn't come through enough, so I'm going to either add more pigment or increase the amount that I'm going to use for the color. So it's like a game, playing Goldilocks, trying to find the perfect combination to make it beautiful. All right, so there's that one's done. Now, this is where it's different from the atomic flower. I am going to take my white, and I'm also going to do polka dots. That is why I have less white for this than I did for the atomic, because it's hard to use that much white in these. So I don't want to overwhelm it with white. The pattern is totally different. So it's just easier to make a little less. You don't need as much because it all spreads out anyway. It's very quiet in here. My son is still gone. He'll be back Sunday, so like a couple more days. I don't know when you'll see this video. I usually record up to 2 weeks early. That way, if I need to take a day off or something, that I can, that I have material to get me through. And that's happened before where I've needed to take a day off for this, that, or the other. And sometimes you just need a break, you know? If you do it every night for a couple hours every night, at some point you might need to take a day off. Plus working still, you know. I have to work in the mornings. And thankfully, though, I only have like 4 more weeks of school. Yay. Super, super excited about that. I am so ready for summer. I have some things planned that I want to do over the summer around the house. I look forward to having time to make more molds. I have so many ideas for molds right now in my head. I'm going to try to make one this weekend when I have the time. It's easier to do it on a weekend because it does take like the whole weekend to do. All right, I think that is good. Got most of that. All right, so now I'm going to do my push, which is my clear. And there's not a lot of push in there. I probably could put less green and do more push, but, and I thought about that when I did last night's, but I actually really liked the way it turned out. And just the way resin moves, the white's gonna move anyway. So it doesn't really, for this particular pour, it didn't really matter. If I didn't have a lot of push to push it all out far, it didn't matter. All right, so now I'm gonna put my stones in the center. Didn't want to put too many of those in because there are quite a few micro beads. All right. All right, I will put on a little time lapse. I'm really digging the color already. It's made a really pretty like turquoise color coming out of it. So anyway, I'll put on a time lapse and then I will see you in the morning when it's time to unmold. Okay, I'm back. Now let's take a look at this. Am I gonna have the same or similar results as the last one I did? Drum roll, please. Let's find out. I can tell the white all moved to the center, so that's a good sign. All right, are we ready? Oh, that came out so cool. So cool. Biggest, fluffiest petals ever. And then all the white in the center. I love it. I love it. Yay! It came out so pretty. And it's got this very like light purple sheen around here that just shows up when you move it, you know, like it's hard to see because of the camera, but it just looks so good. Oh, what do you think? Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time.